Most people think Saint-Émilion is simply right Bank Bordeaux, but once you understand how these top estates differ, you never look at them the same way again. Today, I will walk you through 5 bottles from my cellar that, to my palate, represent some of the finest expressions of Saint-Émilion. By the end of this video, you will have a much clearer sense of how these top estates differ in style, how they evolve over time, and how their value has changed over the years. You will also find a recap table at the end of the video summarizing the wines we have covered. I must admit, Saint-Émilion is an appellation I came to relatively late. It was only about 15 years ago that I began exploring it in depth, after spending nearly 2 decades focused on the left bank and Pomerol. The exact origins of Bordeaux's earliest vineyards remain uncertain, but by Roman times, important wine estates had already developed around Saint-Émilion. One of them belonged to Ausonius, a poet, winegrower, and consul in the 4th century Roman Empire. These vineyards continued to expand through the centuries, reaching a peak during the Middle Ages. In the 12th century, under English rule, the port of Libourne was established, opening up trade routes that brought the region's wines across Europe. By then, Saint-Émilion was already producing wines of real distinction. Before we get into the wines, a quick note on classification. When the Saint-Émilion classification was first created in 1955, only Ausone and Cheval Blanc were ranked Premier Grand Cru classé A. Pavie and Angélus were elevated in 2012, and Figeac followed in 2020. In 2021, Ausone, Cheval Blanc, and Angélus chose to withdraw from the classification. Now, let's get into the wines. These are bottles from my cellar that, for me, represent the very best of Saint-Émilion. Ausone, 1998. The Ausone vineyard spanned 7 hectares on a steep southeast-facing slope just beyond the ramparts of Saint-Émilion. The vines average around 50 years old, with some centenarian vines near the chapel. From the south, the chateau presents a striking view, perched on a promontory outside the medieval walls, a setting that easily invites the legend that the Roman poet Ausonius himself established his villa here. Today, the estate is managed by Alain Vautier and his family, descendants of the Châteauneuf line, owners since 1690. Since taking full control in the mid-1990s, Alain has pursued an uncompromising vision of quality. His daughter Pauline, the 11th generation, has worked alongside him since 2005. I bought this in 2013 for $450. It's now around $680. Now fully evolved, this 1998 Ausone shows layers of raspberry, blackcurrant, cherry, plum, coffee, tea leaves, mint, and balsamic notes. What stands out most is the balance, a seamless interplay between mature complexity and freshness. At 28 years old, it feels remarkably alive. This is Ausone at its most complete. It's a blend of 50% Cabernet Franc and 50% Merlot. Cheval Blanc, 2005. Cheval Blanc's roots in Saint-Émilion go back to the 15th century, but its modern identity took shape in the 19th century under Jean-Jacques Ducasse and Jean Laussac-Fourcault. They established its signature blend, roughly equal parts Merlot and Cabernet Franc. The 19-hectare vineyard sits on the edge of Pomerol with a highly diverse terroir of clay, gravel, and sand. Since its classification at Premier Grand Cru classé A in 1955, the estate has consistently set the standards. It was acquired in 1998 by Bernard Arnault and Albert Frère and is now part of LVMH, with Pierre Lurton managing since 1991. I bought this in 2013 for $450. It's now around $1,100. Now just beginning to open, this 2005 is incredibly expressive. It shows raspberry, blueberry, kirsch, mocha, mint leaves, sweet spice, and truffle. Despite its power and concentration, everything feels precise and controlled. What keeps drawing me back is its energy. There is both intensity and elegance in every sip. It's a blend of 51% Merlot and 49% Cabernet Franc. Pavie 2000. Pavie sits on a south-facing slope at the highest point of the Saint-Émilion limestone plateau. Its 37-hectare vineyard is one single, continuous block. After Gérard Perse acquired the estate in 1998, he carried out major renovations, transforming both vineyard and winery. His approach was bold and sometimes controversial, but the results are undeniable. Pavie's rise was confirmed with its promotion to Premier Grand Cru Classé A in 2012. I bought this in 2015 for $550. It's now around $620. The 2000 Pavie is a powerful, structured wine showing blackberry, cassis, cherry, liquor-like richness, dark chocolate, anise, cinnamon, and balsamic notes. In its early years, it was criticized for being too much. Today, it has settled into something far more balanced. Still powerful, but now refined and composed. At 26 years old, it feels complete. It's a blend of 60% Merlot, 30% Cabernet Franc, and 10% Cabernet Sauvignon. Angélus 2010. The estate dates back to 1782, when Jean de Bois de la Forest settled in Saint-Émilion. The vineyard expanded significantly in the early 20th century, including the Angélus parcel acquired in 1920. Its modern reputation is largely due to Hubert de Bois, who took over in 1985 and led the estate to international recognition. Angélus was promoted to Premier Grand Cru Classé A in 2012. Today, the estate is managed by Hubert's daughter, Stéphanie. I bought this in 2015 for $250. It's now around $530. The 2010 is still young, but already impressive. It combines richness and structure with freshness and control. Flavors of raspberry, blackcurrant, blueberry, coffee, truffle, anise, and forest floor come through clearly. There's power here, but it's balanced and still developing. It's a blend of 55% Merlot and 45% Cabernet Franc. Figeac 2016. Figeac sits on the western edge of Saint-Émilion, close to Pomerol. Its 41-hectare vineyard has a terroir more reminiscent of the Medoc, which explains its unusual blend, equal parts Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and Merlot. This makes it one of the most left-bank in style within Saint-Émilion. Thierry Manoncourt shaped the estate's modern identity from 1947 to 2010. Today, it is run by Frédéric Fay. In 2022, Figeac was promoted to Premier Grand Cru Classé A. I bought this in 2019 for $150. It's now around $280. The 2016 is just entering its drinking window. It's structured, precise, and energetic, with flavors of cherry, blackcurrant, blueberry, dark chocolate, truffle, and licorice. Everything feels balanced and controlled. Give it more time, and it will become even more compelling. It's a blend of 38% Cabernet Sauvignon, 36% Merlot, and 26% Cabernet Franc. These are wines from my cellar that I always enjoy sharing with friends and family. They often lead to lively discussions about style, value, and how each estate expresses Saint-Émilion differently. Regardless of classification or price, these five, to my palate, represent the benchmark of the appellation. If this helped you better understand Saint-Émilion and how these top estates really differ, feel free to subscribe. You will find more of my tasting notes and cellar insights over on Instagram. Massive thanks for watching today, and I will see you in the next one.